Do you have any idea, or is your brain too tiny to have ideas? Is there any kind of thought floating around in that skull of yours?
Okay, I'm back. I finally made it back. It's the Choke Artist Podcast. It's been a minute, as I was just telling our guests here. It's been about, I think, 3 months since I did this, and I'd like to welcome you back, the listener, and I'd like to welcome my guest. A very good guest to have for a first episode back, because most of the reason I wasn't doing podcasts is because I was laying on a couch.
I know that life.
Writhing in pain, being fucked up from Crohn's. So I have Johnny Bentonamo.
Hi.
On the couch. One of my favorite performers in New Jersey. It's more than going to a show and we saw some acts, we saw some bands. Like, you put on a fucking show with your music. So
well, thank you.
Yeah.
I like to
push it and just get really weird with it. You know, like I don't know, like you know, I go to a lot of shows, and not as many as I'd like, but and so many acts, national and local, it kind of seems like they get up there and they're just kind of running through their practice set.
Sure.
And just going through the routine, and I get bored real easy.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of other people do too. So, you just get really weird with it. And, people are really responsive, whether they, like what I'm doing or hate what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I know that when people leave the show and they saw me, they go, what the hell was that? I just saw something. I don't know what it was, and they're probably not going to see it again.
Yeah. But you're getting visceral reactions from people. It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
You put a lot into it. The first time I saw you, I was texting. My friends were it was at the meat locker. My friends were upstairs eating, and I was like, you guys have to come down right now and watch some of this. Because you're right. People have these norms and formalities to playing a show, and make sure you play your songs as good as you can, and you're polite and say good set, and it kind of becomes bullshit at a point. And people should be who they want to be. But I always appreciate your individuality when you do that shit. So
well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What made you wanna? I mean, was it just to change it up, getting sick of seeing the same old stuff?
Well, when I was 8, I remember I was at my grandparents' house and I snuck downstairs. Was watching MTV, and this is in the late '80s.
Yeah.
So they still showed music.
Sure. Yeah.
And I snuck down there and I turned the television on. I turned to whatever channel, and there's Axl Rose in an electric chair, and then and then he's in a hotel room's bed, and there's pythons and prostitutes, and I just saw that, and immediately I was like, that's what I want to do. That is it. This is what I'm going to do with my life.
Yeah.
And then, I was like a little kid, so I didn't really do anything about it. I didn't know what or how to do it. And then I moved to a little town called Middlesex. It's the borough inside the county.
Yeah, not too far from here.
No. Yeah. And it's a really small town. It's literally it's all white people. I'd say 5% of my graduating class was, non-straight white,
Sure.
Kind of people. And so I moved there, and I'm, a bit weird. And they had all known me from Sunday school. Yes, I went to Sunday school. And I
As
used to
many
wear,
of us did.
I used to wear cowboy boots.
Okay.
And so they all used to call me Cowgirl Bob. So I showed up to school on like the first day, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't want to go to school with these people. Like, I remember when I found out that we had moved, I cried.
Yeah.
Like in the back of the car, I was like 13 years old or something. And I'm like, oh, they're all mean to me. Like, I'm not going to have any friends. And I lived in Piscataway before that, which is a big town with lots of different stuff
Mixed,
going on,
yeah.
lots of different kinds of people.
Yeah.
And I was sitting on the stoop or standing and, waiting for the first day of school, and they're going to open the doors. We can all go in. And I just hear from the crowd, ugh, he goes to our school now.
Kidding.
And it was just like, okay, that's how we're going to play it. Like,
Yeah.
very good. And, and I met, a couple of people that were, friendly.
Sure.
And I kept trying to be in bands with, with the musicians. And I always wanted to do like a singer. I really wasn't interested in playing an instrument or everything.
Yeah.
And nobody wanted the really weird new kid in their band.
Yeah.
Especially as their front person.
Yeah.
And
Cowgirl Bob. Right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, what's he gonna do? A lot of like Marilyn Manson references, because I've been shaving my eyebrows,
Sure.
pretty much since I hit puberty and stuff like that. So, eventually, like, there was a couple of bands. It was not a good band. And it was a couple other like misfit kids. Didn't know what they wanted to do, but they played instruments, and so I learned how to play bass.
Okay.
Because I was friends with the singer, and they needed a bass player.
Yeah.
And I was terrible at it. We played like 4 gigs over a span of like 2 years, and then after that, it was and I got out of high school, and like nothing really worked. It was like I'd record a song with like this other kid, but like
It's hard to find people that are like always 100% committed to action. That want to do
Yeah.
that are as driven as you are,
Yeah, that like, realize that you got to put the time in.
Sure.
You have to practice. You got to get together. Like, the people that you're in a band with, you got to hang out with those people.
Yeah.
If you're going to live in a van with somebody, even if it's just for 2 weeks.
You have to be able to get along with
Yeah,
them.
exactly. You got to be okay with, everybody's body smells
Yeah.
and, like all those, different things. And yeah, and so nothing ever worked out. And then like during my 20s is like when I got diagnosed with Crohn's and everything. And I was in a couple of bands, I'd find people that were really talented but didn't want to put the time in.
Sure.
Or people that would put the time in but were just terrible.
Yep. Yeah.
So
One or the other.
yeah, and I tried to live like the big kid life. I went to college. I was a cabinet maker, so I had like, a good trade job, and I was engaged twice in my 20s. So I was like trying to get the job, buy the house, have some kids, and do like the normal life thing.
Yeah.
And then Crohn's hit me again at the end of my 20s, and that's how I got the bag that I have now, the colostomy bag. And it was getting towards my 30th birthday. This is a long-winded story.
No, it's fine.
It's getting towards my 30th birthday, and I went with my buddy Wishbo to go see Slayer and Megadeth. His, I guess, fiance at the time had like, what should I get Wish? Well, what should I get him for his birthday? I was like, well, Slayer's coming around.
Tickets.
Oh, that's perfect. And Slayer was playing all of Seasons in the Abyss. Megadeth was playing all of Rust in Peace. And I'd never seen Megadeth before. I'm not a huge fan of them, but I do like that album.
Sure, yeah.
And I'm a big fan of Slayer. I've already seen them a bunch
I saw
of
them,
times.
dude. I saw them last summer, and they fucking blew it away.
It's-
Like, Lamb of God opened for them, and they were exponentially better than Lamb of God. Like, and
They're just so good.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
they've been
insane.
doing it for so long at this point, though. Like, they know what they're doing.
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
almost no stage banter. They just get up there and bludgeon you.
yeah, it's fucking great.
And I remember, like, I'm sitting there, and like I said, it was the first time I'm seeing Megadeth, and there's Dave Mustaine, and he's soloing, and he's singing, and he's headbanging, like, all at the same time. I looked over at my buddy, and I was like, I'm just going to learn how to play guitar. Like, forget it. I'm just going to learn how to do this, and I'll just do it as a solo performer.
Yeah.
And he said, all right, I'll give you a guitar when we get back to my house. Because he was drinking, and I don't drink.
Yeah.
So I drove him home, and we lived like 2 blocks away. So he ran into his house when I dropped him off, came out with a $50 first act that you could buy at any major retail department
Awesome.
store.
Oh, yeah.
And, handed it to me, and I went home, and I looked at it for a couple of weeks. It just kind of sat there in its soft case.
Yeah.
And it was my birthday, and I said, we're doing it. And I picked it up and I played it, and it was like 20 minutes, and my hands hurt, you know. And I went back the next day and I played another 20 minutes. And a couple weeks after that, I could play 20 minutes several times during the day.
Yeah.
You know, and next thing you know, I'm like playing for like an hour or 2 hours. I started writing songs, and that was in August. And October 31st of the same year on Halloween, I played 3 different sets at 3 different places with 2 songs, one of which still didn't have the last verse.
Yeah.
And
That's awesome.
And then it was like, all right, nope, I can do this. I know what I'm doing. You know, now I just need to, you know, write songs, and I can actually do that.
Wow.
2 years later, I started touring, and
That's crazy.
here I am now working on my 8th release.
Yeah.
I think in 8 years.
So 3 months, you were ready to, well, not ready, but you were already out.
Yeah, I started cutting my teeth.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
a
and
testament to how driven you are to do it, you know?
And
You-
a couple months later, I played, you know, like a bunch of open mic nights. I
Yeah.
for like those like first 2 years, it was pretty much all open mic nights.
Similar, now was it similar to your performance now? And for people who don't know, Johnny's show is a fucking trip. Like, I think where I last saw you was at, it was like the Alamo's last
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
And people are just hanging out in the hallway, not knowing that I knew you were going on next, but we didn't know when you were starting.
I was hiding.
Johnny jumps out with like was it like a tube sock over your head, like a pantyhose?
Stocking, yeah.
Yeah, stocking over your head. Fucking just jumps out in the middle of these like kids just talking and just starts going into his show. Which, like I said before, is very visceral, just intense, a very like grabbing show, and it was awesome. And then everyone was like, "Oh, I guess he's starting here," and kids just huddled around and just started cheering your name and shit. It was really cool.
It was, yeah. Shows like that are always fun. Like I played a similar show in Arizona, in Tucson, which has a great scene down there.
Cool.
Last summer, and my tour mate, you know, went on before I did, and he's like really mellow and chill and everything. And I just waited in the side room, you know, because it was another DIY venue.
Yeah.
And I'm just waiting, and as soon as he stopped and he crossed into the room that I was in, I literally just ran into the room. Like, people were like trying to go have like a smoke outside or something. I'm not having any of it. Like, you know, immediately, and everybody just like stopped, stared, and sat back down because you know, it was like a really intimate place.
Sure.
Just like 30 people in there, and everybody's like sitting cross-legged and just like looking up like wide-eyed.
Yeah.
And like, you know, like when you start, you got to grab people.
Yeah.
You know, at the beginning of a show, you can't, you know, like I'm not going to start with like a ballad or a love song. Not that I have too many of them, but I have like a couple of ditties that are like a little bit more slow and, you know, like kind of creepy.
Yeah.
You know, opposed to that really aggressive, you know, streak that I have.
Sure.
And yeah, it's just, you know, like I really like to kick off the show really strong, you know, because people have really short attention spans.
Yeah.
And if you're not grabbing them, they're gonna go outside. They're gonna have conversations.
It's
you know,
true.
They're gonna twiddle on their phone.
I
I don't have any of that at my shows.
Yeah.
Like, and if I do see you on your phone or talking, I'll stop the show. I'll start yelling at you. Be quiet. Get off the phone. You know, like,
Yeah.
oh, you're Skyping? Let me get over in there. You know. And-
When a band is playing, I like to see how many people take their phone out during the band, like just to see how engaged the audience is.
Yeah.
I was watching it was like a post-rock band play once, and like 28 minutes into their set, they probably played for 40 minutes, which I have a low threshold for post-rock, but it was a lot. Like 28 minutes into their set, I'm like, oh, I'm getting tired, and I looked around and 2 other people yawned within 20 seconds.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, you know, it's about music, but it's also about putting on a show. It
Yeah.
is, you know?
Yeah, like, you know, like when I listen to a record, I want like the musicianship. You know, I want to hear, you know, like I want to hear their passion, but like it's different when you go to a show. Like you're not just a musician at that point. I don't consider myself a musician. I consider myself a performer.
Yeah.
If anything, more of, you know, like it's more like performance art that just uses music. And my more recent shows, like I'm playing less and less music and just getting really, really weird with it and really engaging with the crowd, you know, because you got to do something else besides, you know, like get up there and, you know, just run through your set.
Totally.
Like-
yeah, because it's going through the motions, like we were saying.
Yeah.
That's why I made a point to introduce you as a performer, because it really,
Thank you, yeah.
it really is. Now, like when you first started, did you find your groove with that at some point, or were you kind of always?
I think it's very natural.
Sure.
Like this is just kind of like who I am every day,
Yeah.
except I don't have to kind of like put up those I have to deal with other people in a realistic sense.
Yeah.
Kind of walls. Because, like, if I walked around like that every day, I wouldn't have friends. You know, nobody talked to me. I'd be like, you know, I'd have to go live in a cave somewhere. I wouldn't have a job. You know, I couldn't make money. So, like, it was definitely not, like, as polished as it is now. And it took a lot of those, like, open mic nights to, like, get through, like, ironing out, you know, like, how to do things and, you know, like, how to, you know, get a flow of a show, you know, and how to, you know, what songs should come after, you know, and not specifically songs, but, like, you know, the feelings that you're trying to generate.
Yeah, the
you know,
energy of the room and how to play off it.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes into it.
You know, like, I mean, you know, we were talking about Slayer, like, even Slayer has those, like, slower, creepier songs.
Sure.
Because you just can't berate people
No, yeah.
for a half hour or an hour,
Yeah.
you know, like, you know, it's almost like too much. You need to kind of slow it down a little bit and, you know, like, let people breathe for a second, you know,
Yeah.
and then, you know, then you just go right back at them again, you know, it's, you know.
Even on albums, there's always a song or two that'll kind of bring it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Oftentimes. Sometimes when there's not, my ears get tired, though. When, like, everything is brick-walled and super compressed and just loud the whole time, it's like, sometimes you need a break a little bit. You
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
And the other shit will have more of an impact that way.
Yep.
So,
The variety is the spice of life.
that's right. How long have you been performing out?
This has been, next month will be 8 years.
8 years.
8 years of playing and, okay. So playing out, that would be Halloween of this year.
Okay.
Will be 8 years.
So coming on 8, yeah.
Yeah.
And you're on your 8th release that's coming out.
Something like that. I have 6 on Bandcamp. I'm about to drop my 2nd on SoundCloud, and I have like 1 or 2 that were just hard copy releases.
Cool.
So yeah, we're floating right around 8.
Yeah.
Plus, you know, my greatest shits, which I released last year. JB's greatest shits.
Oh, that's so good.
This is, you know, the best of all those other releases.
Yeah.
That are all terrible.
That's part of the fun.
Yeah, well, I had to do it, like, I do everything myself.
Yeah.
So, you know, I bought, you know, a MacBook because it had GarageBand and it was intuitive. And
That's what we're using right now.
yeah, and I was like, all right, so I'm just going to jump on this and now I can record myself. I have, like, no training, like.
You figure it out. Though.
Yeah,
So
I
you just fucking hit
I like
it
to
and do
think
it.
they've gotten better over time.
Good, yeah. So, like, do you write about, like, I mean, you write about everything. Do you draw inspiration from having Crohn's and, like, feeling sick?
From being sick and being so close to death, because a couple of the hospitalizations that I've had, like, it was literally like doctors were like, if you didn't come in, you would have been dead in 3 days. You just would not have woken up, or you just would have collapsed.
Yeah, I had one of those. I had a perforated bowel.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. I've had a rupture and something else. The rupture was the really bad one, though.
Yeah.
'Cause it was like eating a hole through like 2 other digestive organs, because like the rotten ends were like touching them,
Oh,
and
fuck.
it was like a whole thing. It was crazy.
Yeah. Did it slowly get that bad over time, or?
Yeah, I went like 2 years without seeing a doctor.
That's
'cause I thought
that's
it-
where I was too. Yeah.
Like, I was doing a lot of partying and just like lots of drugs and not a lot of food.
Sure.
You know, and not sleeping. And I'd wake up, you know, to go to work in the morning, and I'm like, you know, like dry heaving and everything. And I was just like, oh, you know, like whatever, you know, like an idiot 19-year-old will do.
Yeah.
And then eventually it got so bad where like I had to drop out of college like a week before finals.
Yeah.
And I had to quit my job because it just literally felt like I was being ripped apart
Totally.
inside.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it was like, all right, well, you know, all right, let's go to the doctor. You know, I was engaged at the time, and, you know, she
Engaged
made me
at
go to the,
19?
yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
And she made me go to the doctor. And, well, I think by now it was probably like 20, about to turn 21.
Sure. Yeah.
And then for the bulk of that year, I was going to all these different doctors in the area, and I was getting misdiagnosed. They took my gallbladder because they thought I had gallstones. Not true. They had me on drinking prune juice and eating like whole brand cereal.
That can make it worse.
That just made it exponentially worse. They
Yeah.
were like, you have gastritis, you have ulcers, this, that, and the other thing, and I
Yeah.
had none of it.
Because this is probably before I got diagnosed in 2007. But when it got bad,
Okay.
I ended up taking a semester off college like 3 years later. I was like 16 or 17, but then when I was 20 is when I got real sick. But what year was it when you got diagnosed?
2001?
Okay. So I got diagnosed 6 years later, but they might have been a little more up on it, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
Because it was like kind of, I don't really know completely, but I feel like the 90s brought on more of like processed foods and shit. And,
Yeah.
you know, that might have brought on more. The IBD is like really high in this country. It's really prevalent, like Crohn's, you see.
not only this country, I've been doing a fair bit of research, and I believe in Scotland, 1 in 3 young people has Crohn's disease right now.
What the fuck, really?
Which is crazy. It's like hit like epidemic levels for them, and it's not all like an extreme case, but it's that all these people have it, and what they think they found is that there's a bacteria in milk that's like that. It's it's getting processed. It's surviving super hot pasteurization, and then like because of other things, it's starting to get into the water system from like runoff and everything.
Oh wow.
So it's getting really bad. But the nice side of that is that the University of London is currently in human trials for a vaccine.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, so I'm hopefully going to be going to London about 2022.
Yeah.
And seeing if, because I've been in correspondence with them. It's called the MAPS vaccine.
Okay.
And I've been in correspondence with them. They're not looking for people right now, but they said, eventually they will be.
That will be wild. I always just
Yeah.
assumed I was doomed for the rest of my life.
So did I.
And like even when I was last hospitalized, the surgeon was like, "Who knows? Maybe we'll have a cure for this one day." And I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here!" With
Yeah.
that. How dare you say that? To
Yeah,
me?
yeah, exactly. Like, don't give me false hope.
I'm
but
eating
like,
solid food in 3 days. Yeah. Like,
it worked on mice.
wow.
And something else. Like
That's a
it,
good
it got
test.
good enough where, they did the first round of human trials and they're going in for the second round now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, best of luck with that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Hey, you too.
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
going to affect both of us and, tens of thousands of other people, if not more.
Yeah. So when the ruptured bag, when you got ruptured, was that when you got your colostomy bag? Or?
I had 2 bags at that point. I had an ileostomy and a colostomy because, like I said, it was eating through other organs.
So at the same time, you had 2 bags going?
They brought an ileum up, which is the one that I,
That's what I had,
defecated
the ileostomy,
into.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then they gave me a colostomy. And it was about a year and a half later, they reversed the ileum, connected it to my colon, and then I used the colostomy bag for like another year and a half.
Yeah.
And then they reversed that.
Okay. And then later on it comes back.
It was like 2008, 2009. So
Okay.
basically, like my 20s were capped at either end
with
like just being hospitalized for months and
yeah.
Like in like 2008, 2009, I did 68 days in a 5-month span.
Yeah.
And it was like 3 hospital stays, and the longest being like 48 consecutive days. I missed a Halloween.
Fuck. So
Yeah. All my friends came in costume though, so it was it was
That's
righteous.
nice. So hospitalized with a bowel obstruction?
Yeah.
Or, yeah. So just for listeners out there, when your shit gets bad enough, eventually food won't pass because your intestines become so fucking inflamed.
Swollen.
Yeah.
Swelling of the lining.
Yeah. It's like an infection almost. So yeah. That's what you get hospitalized with Crohn's or you see, or a rupture or a perforation, which is when there's so much pressure and so much buildup that your shit just pops. You can't take it anymore. So yeah, I think 2009 and 10, I spent about 2 to 3 months total in the hospital. But they were spread out. Like I was hospitalized 3 times. The last time the perforation, emergency surgery, because perforation. Then
I've been there.
you're leaking shit and pus and blood into your
body cavity. Like it's like touching your kidneys. You know, like
and you feel it. You have a headache. You feel nauseous. You're lightheaded.
you're doubled over.
And you pretty much at that point you have like a day or 2 to get to the hospital.
Yeah.
Or else you die.
Yeah.
Or like the
You're
doctors
just going to shock.
Yeah. I think they said after my surgery, like, within 24 hours, you would have had to been on dialysis for the rest of your life. And within like 2 days, you just would have been dead. And like, I was such a fucking stubborn. I still am, but like, I was so stubborn. Like, I'm not going to the doctor. It's fine. I'll just drink water and eat Jello until I feel better.
Yeah.
But when I was young, I was really stupid. I would just eat like buffalo wings and pizza and cheese.
I just like go nuts.
Yeah, because I would be like in remission. I'd think, oh, I don't have Crohn's. They're all full of shit.
Yeah, I kind of do that now that I have the bag.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's cutting off essentially half my system.
Yeah.
So I can kind of get away with cheating. I mean, there's certain foods that I'm never going to touch again, like things with like seeds in it.
Well, I was going to say, because that can get stuck, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not even playing that game.
Yeah.
But like, I'll have some that's maybe a little spicy or, maybe try some lettuce
Yeah.
or a little chocolate every now and
it'll
then.
probably come out. Yeah, it'll come out.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
But it's having the bag. I don't have to like wind sprint to the bathroom. I'm not crapping my pants.
Yeah,
essentially,
you're crapping in a
to be
bag.
Crude about it.
No, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, all right, I got to go to the bathroom because the bag's full.
Yeah. Yeah, so I remember when I had it for maybe 5 months, my ileostomy bag, but I would eat buffalo wings and just watch it erupt like a volcano. I'd be like,
Yeah,
this is awesome.
you could feel it tremoring.
Yeah, totally. So you don't feel any pain from your shit now, like your Crohn's?
Every now and then, I don't really get Crohn's pains, but every now and then, because like when the bit of your intestine starts like moving,
Yeah.
it gets really weird and like it can get like a little crampy.
Okay.
But like general Crohn's pain, I really haven't had anything that I can even like remember as being somewhat significant.
Yeah.
Pretty much since I got the bag.
That's great.
Yeah. Every now and then maybe, but like
Yeah.
I can't note it.
Hold on one sec. The dog's freaking out.
I feel like there's like
Okay, sorry.
it's cool.
All right, so really the hard
Trampled
point.
by a beast now.
Yeah, Champ. There's a little thunder going, and Champ was freaking out, but now he's okay. He just wanted some love. So once you learn how to live with a colostomy bag, it's really not too bad.
You get used to it. It took a little while to like adjust.
Sure.
As as a person just getting used to, such a different life. Because, like when I was young, I thought I was like invincible. I had a really bad attitude.
Yeah, me too.
Like I hate admitting this, but it was true. Like I was a very casual racist. Like dropping an N-bomb or hard Fs or using gay as a pejorative was like a normal part of my life.
Sure. A lot of people too. The climate's changed a lot, and it was never okay. But a lot of people would call, like,
Well,
when I was a kid, I would say shit was gay.
Yeah. And I was, like in an environment. I grew up in an environment where that was very normal.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize that what I was doing was, like wrong, or was like, like possibly hurting and really upsetting people. And I like to like upset people, but not in that kind of way.
Yeah.
And, like having, that near-death experience. And then, like, when I was in the hospital getting the ileostomy bag off, my fiance broke up with me.
Oh, wow.
So, and then I had that. So I'm, like, adjusting to everything is just, like, so new in my life. And then I started to, like, travel. And that's when, like, it's, like the near-death Crohn stuff, like, humbled me. Mm-hmm. And then when I started traveling, like, it kind of put a lot of things into perspective. Like, I started meeting people outside of my tiny little white town.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And
a lot of people don't have that perspective in the whole country.
You got to travel.
Yeah.
You got to get out of your bubble.
Yeah. Because then when you go on tour, you go in the middle of America and you're like, oh, wow, there's nothing diverse about this town,
Yeah. Yeah. Like, especially in the middle of the country, it's just like... It's crazy, and we have like so much space, and now we're going to get political. But like, there's so much space in this country. Like, I don't understand what the big deal is with like people coming here.
Yeah.
Like there's like, if you have traveled like even once, driven across country, like it will open your eyes to how much space is open.
A lot.
And there's like, we're the wealthiest country in the world. So you can't tell me that there's not funds that we can, help people, raise out of, garbage level of living.
It would work out.
Yeah. It would be so fine. And like the rate that technology is advancing now, like, it's crazy, like
people want to think of in terms of them. Like they don't like change.
Change is scary.
Yeah.
It can be really scary, especially when you're comfortable and you're complacent.
Yeah.
But like you don't advance that way.
I agree.
Like you just stagnate.
Yeah.
Just where are we going?
No, we were talking about how when you moved, your worldview.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
not when you moved, when you traveled.
Yeah.
Were you traveling for music at that point?
No, that was just like backpacking across country, just trying to go to random places and see things.
Cool.
And yeah, like
I'm doing that this summer actually.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm leaving for a tour on the 23rd, and then the tour ends on the 10th. Everyone flies back and goes to work because they have to, and then my girlfriend's meeting me out, and we're just driving around the country for
that's
like
awesome.
10 days. So
yeah, dude, that's that's what it's all about. Like especially just being in the United States. Like there's so many, and create culture. Like there's so many cultures around the country where people are doing different things, or like I remember on my first tour I was going down south, and we were playing in the Carolinas and Georgia, and they were playing like that Fury of 5 Madball style of like hardcore.
Yeah.
But that was like what was new for them.
Sure.
You know, and stuff like that. I'm like, this is what I was listening to in high school, you know? And, you know, like things like that, you know, and then you go out to like the West Coast or the Great Lakes states, you know, or, you know, Texas and the desert, you know, and there's just so many different kinds of people living different kinds of lives, eating different kinds of food.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I think we're spoiled being so close to New York.
Because we kind of get the best of every aspect. There's still a lot more out there, but it's a big melting pot here.
Yeah. Like, you know, world culturally, you know, being in that New Jersey, New York area is really beneficial.
Yeah.
You know, but still, you know, I grew up an hour away from New York City, and you know, like I said, it
You
was
weren't
just
privy
you know,
to any of that.
Yeah, you know, it was, you know, you gotta go to those places. you gotta go to cities, and you know, and visit the people and talk to the people, not just like get your nose out of there, not just like going on vacation and you know going to like an insular place. Like, oh, I went to Rhode Island and I went camping. It was like, well, that, you know, camping's cool. Rhode Island's cool.
Yeah.
But like, you don't know what's going on in Rhode
You want
Island.
to have a
You know what
conversation.
the forest looks like.
Yeah, you want to go somewhere and like talk to the people there, you know?
Yeah.
And take it all in and see what it's like.
Yeah, like the first time I had greyhounded out to California, and then we did some hitchhiking. I lived with the Rainbow family. I tried to move to Vegas, and that didn't work out. And then, like, yeah, we went up to upstate California, and I lived with like thousands of hippies.
What? That's what the Rainbow
In the
family is?
woods.
It's like a
It's like an
collective-
extended, you know, like kind of like hippie group.
Yeah. Champ. I might bring him back down now. I think he's freaking out because they're done there, but he's got to go. Hold on. So we were talking about getting a worldview.
Yeah.
It's important for everyone.
I think so. You know, to growth as a human being and learning, I think is the most important thing that you can do as a person.
Yeah.
It's not making money. It's not starting a family. It's, you know, it's personal growth.
Understanding everything around you as much as you can, you know?
Yeah, you know, like not everybody has that opportunity or, you know, even realizes that there's, you know, something outside
Yeah.
of their bubble.
Some people do have the opportunity though and don't take it too.
That's true.
So my parents they grew up in New York. They've only been to like 3 places in the United States though. Philly,
Oh.
New Jersey, New York, and Florida, which doesn't count because like what you're saying, they go to a resort and like they don't.
Yeah.
And then besides that, they've only been to Italy, like or
Okay.
like,
Well,
which
that's
is cool.
something. Yeah. That's,
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't been out of the country minus like Canada or the Bahamas.
Yeah,
or something.
same. But it's just my family's Italian, so like they go and like with family, and so they're very
Okay.
well cultured for Italy. Like
Okay.
they're like a cultured Italian people. But it's like I just want them to know what the rest of the country's like.
Yeah.
Because there's so much, you know.
Yeah. Like
And-
driving through Arkansas.
Yeah.
The most garbage looking state I have ever been through. And it was just like I drove through, so I didn't meet anybody there.
Yeah.
But you know, like I grew up in a middle class suburb. You know, pretty much everybody lived in a 2-story house. You
Yeah.
know, like everybody's parents had, you know, a car, and you know, some kids only one parent had to work.
Yeah.
You know, and then you know once you start getting outside of like you know like your area again, you see not everybody doesn't have it. You know, like
Yeah.
that. There are people that like wish that they could go to work every day.
Yeah.
But they can't.
Yeah.
You know, there's just not jobs for them, and you know the government hasn't figured out a logical way, or maybe they've just decided not to. You know, to actually take care of those people.
Yeah.
You know.
So once you started touring, was it like were you already okay health wise?
I'd had this bag, so I was just kind of like used to dealing with it. But like all of my tours, I've had a bag on, so like I haven't had really like Crohn's issues so much.
Okay.
But I've had to, you know, like adapt to having, you know, the bag and being on the road, and you know, like bathrooms for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, like having dietary restrictions, like eating on the road isn't.
It sucks.
It's not easy.
I'm
like,
kind of worried actually.
Yeah,
but I-
like you know, you got to eat at a gas stations and stuff sometimes.
Yeah, you're on the go all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Hurry up and wait.
Yeah. So I when I had a bag, I remember playing a show and my bag. I would stand up after and the bag came off. Like I always have problems with like the wafer and like the bandage around it or whatever.
Okay.
Like, I've always had problems with that. So I'm curious, like, does that happen to you a lot, or?
I've had a bag drop off twice.
Oh, okay.
Once was right before a party was going to start at the house I was living at, and
Okay.
splat right on the kitchen floor.
Yeah.
So that was terrible. And my
Yeah.
roommate was like, oh my God, girls are coming over. And he's like completely free. I'm like, dude, we're going to clean it, open the windows.
Yeah.
You know, get the Febreze.
Yeah,
You
it'll be
know,
fine.
We'll be fine. And so we did that. And the other time I was getting tattooed. And like I got up to go to the bathroom, and it was ridiculous. Like I had emptied,
Yeah.
and I went back into the room, and the artist Sam Hambrick, great guy, was in like a different room, and then I'm literally walking into the room, and the bag just falls off the wafer because like I had gone more.
Yeah, more
like,
weight.
Yeah, it just like it filled up and splat right on the floor. It's like the middle of the day at like a high-end tattoo shop.
Sure.
And I just like looked down, and I was like mortified. I'm like, oh my God, like how.
What do you do?
I don't really get embarrassed, but there was just like, like, oh my God,
What do we do? Yeah.
Sam goes and he gets the, the mop in a bucket and cleans it up real quick.
Did you have extra bags though?
I just plop that bag right on.
Okay, once you
Usually
clean it out.
I'll carry an extra bag with me.
Yeah.
Like I brought a book bag here today. I usually have a couple of things just in case something goes awry.
Sure. Yeah.
I didn't need it then. It just needed to clip it back onto the wafer.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I guess the hard part is if the wafer ever leaks, like if it shit somehow gets underneath the wafer.
Yeah.
Or if that comes off your body.
Yeah.
Which playing drums would happen to me a bit, and it just be
Really? Oh, because you're getting really sweaty.
You're sweaty and you're moving.
kind of that sitting position kind of puts the creases
Yeah,
into
exactly.
the wafer, which is the part that like attaches to your abdomen.
Yeah,
your
so-
abdominal wall.
Again, for listeners,
Yeah.
so your body's all diseased and fucked up, so they cut out the diseased parts. They take the part that works good, and instead of reconnecting it, where it's more likely for disease to happen then, they'll pull it out through your body, and they'll make a little nub, so they'll fold your intestines outward.
Mm-hmm.
So picture a hose, and you fold the ends outward, and they staple that to your body. Is it stapled?
Yeah, I think it's like stapled or like sutured inside, and
Yeah.
eventually I think the goal is that like the sutures will disappear and it'll just kind of graft.
Yeah. And that's your stoma, and that's your little poop spout that everything comes out. So
Yeah, it's like a spigot on the side of the house.
yeah. So then they cut a hole in a wafer. You have to measure it to the stoma.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
then you put it around. It sticks to your body, and that's so like no shit gets on your body.
You would like adhere it with some sort of like paste or
Yeah.
powdered. Yeah,
It used to
glue.
burn when I had it. Like,
Really?
Well, because I would get shit on my skin and get irritated, and then there was like this
Oh,
rubbing
yeah.
alcohol stuff. So
Yep, I had those issues at the beginning
Yeah.
because the lady at the hospital that taught me how to actually like apply my own dressing and change it and everything, she had me like using the paste, and I would smear the paste all over the wafer.
yeah.
And and I'm doing this, and like I remember the first night I was home, I leaked 3 times, and I kept taking showers and changing and like I had this like emotional breakdown.
Sure.
Like I'm like naked with no bag on, like holding like a piece of Tupperware underneath it, like I need to go back to the hospital, like I can't do this. And,
Yeah.
like my fiance, she wonderful. She calmed me down, and everything, and we figured out what we were doing. But then I started getting that sore
Yeah.
around it, and I went and saw an ostomy specialist, and she had taught me that you're supposed to apply it like caulk.
Okay.
Just when you're using the paste, you use like like a bead of
And
the
spread
paste
it
around
out.
the hole, and then you just kind of smush it to yourself.
Yeah.
And it'll smush where it needs to smush.
Sure,
And
yeah.
create the bond it's supposed to, instead of like smearing it like peanut butter or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. Totally.
And the sores like went away, within
Great.
like a couple of weeks, and now I've got it down. I mean, I've had it for so long now, like it's been like 8 years basically.
Yeah.
With this one, so like it's super routine.
Totally.
You
yeah.
know, like I know what I'm doing, so like now it's like it's easy. Like if I need to change it somewhere, I just need a shower so I can get like the constant running water.
Yeah.
And bing bang boom, I can like change it in like under a half hour.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I like to take about like 2 hours because I like let it air dry and just kind of let the skin
Just to make
breathe.
sure it's really secure on there.
Yeah, exactly. But if I got to do it and in a pinch, I can totally.
Yeah. That's awesome.
totally do
yeah,
it.
you learn to live with it.
Yeah,
you
you
know?
adapt.
Yeah.
Totally. Humans are highly adaptable.
Yeah.
As long as you're open to it and you're not, like fighting
Yeah.
change, because so you just got to figure out how to get along.
Yeah. That's how when I had it, and I know it was like a much shorter time than you had it, but I was like, oh, this is it. Like, what am I gonna do? And it would just be like,
especially at such a young age.
Yeah, I was 19 too.
Yeah.
Like, so, I was put on so many medications that didn't work. And granted, my diet was shit, but like so many meds just didn't really help enough.
Yep,
and, like,
that was the same with me. I was like on like experimental stuff. I was sitting there with like chemo patients getting infusions.
That's what I'm doing now.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I go to an infusion lab, and I went once, and then I stopped going because I'm stupid. I'm like, oh, I'm fine, I don't need it. But now, like after
Once worked.
yeah, because like I started feeling good, and then like I had a colonoscopy, and my doctor was like, we don't see anything wrong. So I'm like, all right, then nothing's fucking wrong. Why did I go to a infusion lab?
Okay.
But the colonoscopy only sees so much, and there's more of your intestines than like can be seen. So,
yeah, there's upper bowel, lower bowel,
Yeah.
like, and all the different like a lot of people I think just think you have like a large and a small intestine.
yeah.
And then like a colon and a rectum. It's like, well, your colon's kind of your large bowel.
It's so
and
long.
then you have like your ileum and I think if you were to stretch out the whole thing, it's like miles or something.
Yeah.
Because it's mutable. It collapses, in on itself. And that's
Lots
how
of folds.
Yeah, it just kind of like pushes the food through that way. It's really. Having Crohn's has at least really educated me on the way that the gastrointestinal tract works.
Sure, yeah. Whenever I see a diagram in the office, I just stare at it and just try to get
Yep.
it all in.
And, oh, that's where that is.
Yeah. It also made me very more woke to, I hate to use the word, but like just what I was eating and what's in all the food I eat and stuff, because like, I was a shitty kid. I eat like fast food all the time. And that's when I would notice, like at first I would like eat McDonald's and get sick.
Okay.
And then eventually I had like a perianal abscess. So like
Ooh.
half inside my ass and half like outside, and just like a boil filling up with pus and blood.
Yeah.
So my first introduction to like Crohn's was like going to a colorectal surgeon and him lancing it that day. And just me, I remember, I'll never forget. Yeah. Tears running down my face and just punching the table, and just I feel hot blood and pus like spilling down my leg. And then that was my first introduction to like all this, and I like sat on the donut for like 2 weeks.
Okay.
But-
Oof.
Yeah, because
I haven't had that. That is whoa.
it was weird. Because like
I've got some of them nice deflated grape hemorrhoid things,
yeah, oh,
but
those are
like,
true,
oh
too.
my, that's crazy.
Yeah, because the more it fills up and like the more pressure you feel, it feels like someone's pinching and twisting the inside of your
Yeah.
asshole. Like I couldn't cough or sneeze or pee without it hurting. Like when I would pinch off, like it would just hurt.
Oh my goodness.
So, and I
No,
was
thank
also
you.
like, I'm Italian. Not that wasn't the reason. I'm super hairy. So like I went
Uh-huh.
to a doctor once, and he was like, everything seems fine. It's a little red because it's just like an 18-year-old boy ass like jungle of hair.
Yeah,
like-
yeah.
So like he couldn't see
You need a
it.
machete to get through.
Yeah, seriously. And then when I went to the next guy like 2 weeks later, he was like, "Oh my, this is very large. We need to take care of this today." And then
Wow.
I had colonoscopy and all that. I'm sure you've had colonoscopies and all that.
Yeah, endoscopies, colonoscopies, like that's just it's gotten routine at this point.
Yeah.
You know,
totally.
like the first one, it was like, oh my God, they're gonna stick something up my butt. Only I've put things up my butt before. Somebody else is gonna do it now. Well,
Yeah.
at least I'm knocked out. Now it's just like, oh, I gotta drink that gross fluid again.
Yeah, you just get used to it.
okay.
Yeah,
We
totally.
choke it down.
I feel like I end up knowing more than like the people I have to talk to on the phone about shit too. Like
Yeah.
for tests and stuff, they're like, "Oh, there's no prep," and I'm like, "Are you sure?" Because
Yeah.
I think there's prep.
So there's a new procedure then.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you always gotta like drink something.
Yeah, whether it be laxatives or a solution or
Yeah.
you know.
You gotta clean it out so you can see what's going on.
Yeah, yeah. So I remember after a show once you told me that you diarrheaed in a Gatorade bottle and put a stick of dynamite in
A
it.
quarter stick of dynamite in it, yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And then it was outside a judge's house, which I didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
It was just like a really opportune place to put it.
Yeah.
Because there was like a little like alleyway. So nobody. There was all like high fences to the two houses on either side. And it led off between like two busier areas. And yeah, we just had this brilliant idea to light it off at the one end of the alleyway. And I actually I almost made the fatal mistake. This is my first time playing with quarter sticks. And like we put the thing in and put the cap back on, and like ran away to the other end of the alley. And you could see the fuse going inside the bottle, and all of a sudden the fuse goes away. And silence.
Oh no.
And I start walking towards it like, what? And boom! Because it like sunk in, so
Sure.
the fuse was gone. But it's dynamite. The fuse is waterproof.
Yeah.
And oh my God, It was so loud. We ran back to the house. There was crap all over people's cars.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, so gross. But at least, it was a judge's house, so.
Yeah, stick it to. When I had my ostomy, I did this thing called shit and run, where because you have the, I was 19, I had this ostomy bag, and I would just be like on a street corner with my friends, and be like, yo, check this out, and just like empty the bag.
Yeah,
like, on
yeah.
the corner. So one night I went to McDonald's, we filled up the bag. You don't digest all the lettuce sometimes. There's like chunks of stuff in it.
Okay, yeah.
For me
Yep.
at least. And I remember I ran up to sorority, and I just threw my hips like I was doing a hula hoop, and I squeezed the bag and just
Oh my God.
globs of shit on the sorority house off of College Ave.
I've taken the bag off some, like, it was like, like a former friend of mine was getting a little mouthy, getting a little wise. And so I gave him a warning, and he did not heed the warning, and off the bag came, and I flung it at him. He's a very agile person,
Yeah.
so with his cat-like agility, he dodged very well.
Good.
But on his back porch was a big poo splatter that I was not cleaning. And like, we're going to get a little graphic now, but like, it doesn't come out like a normal person's BM. It's not like solid.
No, it's
turd.
like it cakes.
Yeah, it's oatmeal-y or watery. Like,
Yeah.
it's more fluid than solid. So
Yeah.
like, it makes a mess.
So the next day after I shit on that house, I like went back, and they had like a bucket of bleach outside and like a scrubber, and some of the shit was still there. Like,
Because if they didn't notice it.
until the next day, I bet.
Oh my God, it's gonna sit in the sun and start cooking on the house.
Yeah, just disgusting.
Yeah, get them. Make other people deal with your problems.
Whether they want to or not. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're at least not in as pain anymore.
Yeah, it's manageable for the most part.
Yeah.
And like, stress is a big trigger, and
Sure.
you know, being a performer has helped minimize my stress, because now I have like an outlet
sure.
to get rid of all that, like just repressed garbage that I'm feeling in my little tiny human brain.
Yeah.
Like, that stuff needs to get out.
That's interesting, because
You know?
I know when like the singer of Glassjaw, Daryl Palumbo, has Crohn's,
Mm-hmm.
and he said that singing, because he'll like sing intense and stuff, he said that it's like kind of caused episodes too for him.
Obviously he has a much more rigorous tour schedule.
Yeah.
Than I do. So I could see that possibly being a problem if I, ended up like touring full time, which would be absolutely wonderful and I would love to do.
Yeah.
But if I were to be able to get to something like that level, I would think you're going to need days off,
Yeah.
or at least like after the show, you got to go and you got to lay down. Like,
Yeah.
like after I perform, I'm pretty much spent for like 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
More like an hour or two, but like right around that like 2 hour mark is where I was like, okay, I can actually drive a car again. I can talk to people, but now it's like so far after I've played, like now I can actually function as a human again.
Totally.
Cause like you were saying, like you've seen it, like I expend everything
do.
that I have.
Yeah. They put a lot of
And then before the shows, like I hope I don't come off as like standoffish, but like I don't talk to people before shows because I have to like get in that headspace.
Sure.
Like I call it like channeling the demon.
Yeah.
I gotta start putting away that the niceties that I have to have in everyday life, and start dredging up all those bad feelings and all that negativity.
Yeah.
Trying I really like to try and like absorb any kind of negative energy that's like also like in the room, and try and I'll just like sit there and be quiet and just like monitor what people are doing, and like suck all that energy into me so that I can then like a battery turning like negative energy into like positive energy,
That's
and then I can
interesting.
spit it back out and it comes, I'm sure it's like it's lewd and it's violent, but I think most people at the end of the day get what I'm doing,
Yeah.
and see that, we're all in this together, and you need to get it out.
Yeah. The few times I saw you perform, I was always like, that's awesome. That guy's doing his thing and that doesn't care, and it was always entertaining.
Yeah. Thank you.
And the energy thing makes sense, take
Yeah.
everything from a room, make it your own, and like kind of expel it.
Yeah. Cause nobody wants to walk around with that, that cloud hanging over their head. And a lot of people don't know how to
A lot of people
express
don't have
themselves.
outlets. A lot of people have zero outlets,
Yeah.
which I don't understand. Like, there's things that they enjoy, but like having a form of expression as an outlet is like a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
you know?
for anything.
Yeah.
Like I try and tell people like, like I'm doing this because I like performing, but like that doesn't have to be like your goal for it. Like
Sure.
if you want to learn how to play the guitar, learn how to play the guitar. If you want to paint a picture, just, go to a craft store, buy a canvas, buy some paints, buy some brushes.
Just try it.
And just play, get a sketch pad and, and a bulk thing of pencils, and just do it. It doesn't have to be good.
No.
As long as it's making you feel good.
Yeah.
Is what's important. Now, if you're just like terrible, now please don't play shows.
Please don't play for 40 minutes.
Yeah, because now you're taking up space from people that are like actively trying to do something.
Yeah.
There's a point where you need to know that you need to get out of other people's way that are taking it more professionally and more serious.
I agree, and it's tricky because I teach music, so I feel like everyone should play music once in their life. Just at some point, you should play it.
Sing,
even if it's not your thing, you should play it at least for a little to know what it's like. But then, on the other hand, as someone that plays out and performs, whatever, I see people sometimes. I'm like, you shouldn't be playing.
Yeah.
On this bill or just at the show, and like then I'm like, who am I to say? But then like they do something stupid that shows that they're like,
there's a certain level. I think a lot of people may have this misconception, and a lot of performers have this misconception that it's kind of like a party, and it's kind of like, oh, like punk time. We all know that that's real because like we're all artists that are basically partaking in this thing.
Yeah.
And we're all procrastinating. Well, not all of us, but like some of us are procrastinators, and there's traffic. Some people have to drive long distances. Some people have work.
Yeah.
So like, not to harp on everybody, that uses, punk time, but like that's just like those kind of terms can kind of be dangerous from people that don't realize that other people are there, especially maybe like the promoter.
Yeah.
And the people that are running the venues, but
lot
whether
goes
they
into
be
it.
like professional or DIY.
Yeah.
But like you got to be somewhat professional because like other people are investing their time, their money, and their sweat into the same thing.
Yeah, a lot of time and money goes into doing it.
If you're not like, it's fun to act like a kid, but it's at a certain point, like this is a job.
Yeah, it's something that you want to do for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
For as long as you can and be as successful as possible at it,
Yeah, exactly. And stop playing shows for free at venues that serve alcohol.
100%. Yeah.
Because that's I don't know why it just popped in my brain, but that drives me nuts.
They're making hundreds of bucks off you.
If the venue's making money, it doesn't matter how many people you draw. If they're selling alcohol, you're entertaining their fan base.
Yeah.
Or a clientele, you deserve a cut of that money.
Yeah, even if it's $20.
Yeah, exactly. Something, or at least, they should throw you a couple drink tickets.
Sure.
Or, if you're, of age, maybe some food, like something. Pay for your gas money. Like the venues like that are making money. Don't play there.
Yeah.
Because it encourages them to get other acts that do the same thing.
Then it's just what they expect at that point.
And like that's not cool. Like we spend lots of money on equipment and recording and like all those different things, like strings, just having to keep up with strings, or like skins on the drums.
Too much. Sticks are expensive. It all adds up.
And I'm happy to spend the money because I love doing what I'm doing.
Exactly.
But if somebody else is going to make money off my sweat, I deserve my fair cut.
No, I agree.
It's not all theirs.
Yeah. No, you're totally right. And it's funny that, I don't know, there's just a lot of things that are weird about playing music now. Like the amount of time I have to spend on my phone to post about a tour or shows and stuff. And it's like, why am I don't know. This thing is like, it takes away time from like other shit I could be doing.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
obviously I love
so
doing,
much time.
I wouldn't want to do anything else, but it's, it's hard to draw the line with where am I promoting or like talking to people who might be able to help with the show or just help or, and it's not.
I'm so terrible at all of that.
Yeah, and it's not only about getting something out of it. I genuinely like connecting with people and like talking, or else I wouldn't fucking do podcasts. Like I wanted to talk to you about so much stuff, and it's cool to meet like-minded people and stuff. But then when I feel like I'm not being as efficient as I can be with my time, or I'm spending too much, and it's my own fault sometimes, just looking at too much shit online that isn't necessary. I can stay in my own lane, and
it is a void.
Yeah, it really is. You can
It'll
just
suck you in.
Yeah. Sometimes I just go on YouTube and just like type in random shit and see what comes up.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I just had one of those days the other day where it was just like I didn't realize it, but I had been watching like Japanese wrestling for like 5 hours. And then and it was just like every now and then I would just like go and check on like Facebook and a dating site and, like a dirt sheet. It was like I have these like four,
cycle through
the 4 websites that I generally just check on every now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you don't like monitor that, like hours have just, passed.
Yeah, it's so true.
And your day is wasted.
Yeah. I've probably said on the pod before, but I can like look up after I've been on my phone and be like, I don't even know what I was just doing. Like after 2 hours, like I could have read like a bunch of shit. I'm like, what did I take in that really had lasting value?
Yeah. Yep.
So going to live music, going to shows usually has a positive impression on me. And I try to do that as much as I can now. But the older you get, the harder it gets too. But
yeah,
I try to go to as many shows as I can because I usually enjoy them.
I wish that I could go to more shows. Sadly, I don't have a car.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I don't really have like shared musical tastes.
Sure.
With my friends group. Like I hang out with a really not culturally, but like interest diverse group of people. It's basically just like all the weirdos from a bunch of different surrounding towns. Somehow we all met in our like late 20s.
Yeah.
And so, but like nobody wants to go see like Sick Shit with me.
Yeah.
Like, hey, call like Jeffrey J. You want to go see Sick Shit? What's that? It's like, oh, it's a female fronted like power violence band. Like I played with them a couple times. They're great. And it's just like, why would I want to go see that?
Yeah.
I'll
go see Sick Shit with you whenever you want. If it's in New Brunswick. Yeah.
But I need to ride to New Brunswick, and that's always, I always end up having to like call somebody, but there's no really that I can call. And now I'm like up in like North Jersey, like essentially like by myself. And now I have a muggle job after like 10 years of like not having any like gainful employment. So like, that's like, now it's like I have money so I can go to shows, but now it's just like, so who wants to go to a show? And it's crickets.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Most of my friends have aged out of like the music scene.
Yeah.
We all came up in like a similar scene in our teens or like early 20s, and most of them have aged out besides like 3 or 4.
I feel like an old man at especially at like a lot of like DIY shows.
Yeah.
Because I started playing out when I was 30. And by then, like, most of my friends were getting engaged. They had, like, jobby jobs, big girl jobs, big boy jobs, and, kids,
Totally.
and, like adult responsibilities.
Yeah.
So, it's rare. Like, once every couple of years, it seems like I can get a big group of friends to come out, but I specifically have to play, like, one of 3 bars.
Places where they're comfortable.
Exactly. Because none of my friends are going to come to DIY shows except for like my other artist friends.
Sure, because they get it.
Exactly. And they're part of the community too.
The older you get, the more set in your ways you get, the less likely you are to step out of your comfort zone, it seems. You know? A kid was complaining to me at a show recently, like, I'm learning who my real friends are now because I'm getting older and they stop going to shows, and like, does that get any better? Because he was younger than me. I couldn't tell how much younger. And I'm like, no, it gets worse. Like, you can't fault them for it. I get why people want to have kids and start families. I'm not going to, like, resent them.
Yeah, everybody's got to live their own life. Yeah. Everybody has different wants and needs.
Yeah, just make new friends that go to the shows. And
exactly. Exactly. Go to those shows, find that other person that looks like they're alone.
Yeah.
Strike up a conversation.
Exactly.
If you see somebody that's, like, bobbing your head while you're bobbing your head to this, like, awesome local band.
Talk about the music.
Be like, oh, man, like, I saw you rocking out, and, like, go make new friends.
Yeah.
The
kid that was talking to you is 20 years old.
Okay, yeah. I think there's probably, like looking out at a crowd and, having gone to so many shows at this point, like you can see them. You see the people that are there alone, that have trouble making friends.
Totally.
Like I'm one of them.
Yeah.
Like I do not have an easy time.
When I go by myself, it can be weird, but I still go.
Yeah, you gotta, try and put yourself out there and, talk to somebody.
Yeah.
It might, like make like a lasting friendship that you can, have for the rest of your life. You never know.
Yeah.
I've met some of those people, and I'm pretty sure that I'm like, there's a handful of people I've met at shows that I'll talk to forever now.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it was all because, they came up to me and said like, hey, I liked what you were doing. Or I went up to them and was like, hey, I liked what you were doing.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different as a performer rather than just a spectator.
Well, because there's more common ground. You have more things to talk about off the bat.
Yeah, a little camaraderie.
Yeah. But you could still go to a show and talk about music or anything.
For sure.
Chances are anyone at a DIY show has, you know, an interesting perspective or a somewhat similar ideal, and not like we all need to be the same. We don't, but there's some common ground and something you could talk about with someone at a show.
That's one of the things that I really like about DIY shows, is that like it seems, and it's not always like this, but a lot of the times the people that are there want to be there. It's not like playing like a bar show, you know, where like people just go there to drink. They're not going to applaud. They're just going to sit over at the bar. So you might be playing to like 50 people. Yeah. But when 20 are paying attention,
they're not engaged.
It's not the same. But like when you're playing in somebody's basement or somebody's attic or, you know, their kitchen, wherever, you know, or like a small art space that, you know, somebody, you know, scrounged enough money to throw, and you pack like that's just those 20 or 30 people that are paying attention, like they're gonna pay attention. Like if they're not paying attention, it's probably your fault. Yeah. For not being entertaining. Yeah. Or, you know, maybe they're just, you know, you're not their cup of tea. Yeah. You know, which happens sometimes. Yeah, which totally. And I've been to plenty of house shows where it seems like one band draws a bunch of people and the whole rest of the show, they're just outside drinking beer and smoking cigarettes. Yeah. You know, like that does happen. So it's, you know, it's not a flawless system. But generally, I find that, you know, if you're at a basement show, you want to be there. You want to hear music and see performers that, you know, that you're probably never going to hear or see again, you know, like those moments, you know, that can't be replicated. Sure. You know, like, you know, again, I think is really what benefits a DIY community, you know, as you know, the culture that it gives to other people. Yeah. You know, it's just like, it's a good point. It's something completely different and new and fresh. And you see, like you're saying, both spectrums out of your performances. Yeah. Like, you see people that are like, I'm so down with this. This is fucking great. And have you seen people that have like shunned it or been like, what's going on? Oh, I've had people like, hey, you know, or, you know, like, especially like at the beginning when I was still like, my playing was still really rough. Yeah. People would just get up and leave. Yeah. You know, like there was a couple of times where I would like clear houses, probably for both just not being a good guitarist yet. And also, you know, like my lyrical figuring out the finesse of executing what you do. Yeah. Because there is some tact to it. Yeah. And yeah, like, and I say a lot of bad words, you know, and I say a lot of like really edgy things, and sometimes people feel personally attacked. Yeah. You know, so they're like, you know, they want to get upset and leave, and that's fine. They have every right to not like what I'm doing. Sure. You know, and I'll respect somebody more for getting up and leaving than like heckling the show. Yeah. You know, no, I agree. You're not forced to be there. Exactly. You know, like, I mean, you might have paid to go there, but like, unless you're paying to see me, you know, like go outside for 30 minutes. Yeah. Like, you don't have to pay attention, you know, and if that's your prerogative, that's fine. Yeah. You know, like this is America, baby. You know, like we're all allowed to like say stuff as long as you're not threatening anybody, you know, like you're good. You know, I'm allowed to, you know, like cannibalism and necrophilia and fire and sing about it. Yeah, yeah, you know. Yeah. So talk about your new album, your new EP, Dear Johnny. Okay. It's gonna come out August 19th. It's gonna be 3 songs long. The first track has already been released on a compilation that my buddies, well, actually my buddy Fuzz Daddy from Jonas the Cloud, did like a comp with like a bunch of other people, and so the opening track is already on that. I wish I could remember what the comp was called. It's somewhere on Bandcamp. Cool. And then there's like a 7.5 minute like studio track, which is the first time that I had somebody else record me. It was like, you know, in a house setting, but they had a much better recording setup than I have at my house. Maybe. Yeah, exactly. You know, they have a condenser mic. Oh, yeah, which is just, you know, a game changer, when I learned about that, I was like, that's why everything sounds so crappy and static that I've been recording. I have to like layer everything with all this stuff to get a sound out of it. But yeah. So that guy, and I have had a bit of a falling out with him. He tried to censor me since then. So censor the song you made? Or? No, he tried to censor me at a show I was playing that he threw. And he should have known because we played a bunch of shows together, so he knows what he's getting. Yeah. But I essentially got half naked in front of his mom. And he didn't tell me that, hey, my mom's here, can you not do that? And he didn't tell his mom, hey, you might not want to be down here for that. Sure. And I told him I was going to get extra weird. Yeah. Like, he was given fair warning. I showed up to the show with no guitar. Okay. That's how weird we got. Yeah.
Where was the music coming from?
I basically I uploaded a couple of noise tracks.
Okay.
One of which is the last song on Dear Johnny.
Okay.
And I just kind of like went nuts with the microphone over like 24 minutes exactly.
Yeah.
So not like of just like weird abstract noise stuff with like some samples and
That's
like,
cool.
you know, some beats that I made and some stuff that gets really weird and stuff, you know, a little bit more straightforward, like hip hop-ish kind of stuff.
Sure.
And I got half naked like I am wont to do. And I crawled around on the floor and I had a couple of props and, you know, it was his birthday. His birthday
so you wanna
show.
put on a good show for his birthday.
Yeah, and I was like, you know, and this is, you know, right before then is when I really started thinking that I wanted to do something that's not play 8 songs in my half-hour set and get off stage.
Yeah.
You know, which was fun, and I did a lot of really creative things with, but like I really started wanting to do a little bit more because I have not been able to find like a drummer that I can get, you know, together with, which is optimally what I'd really like. So I just want to get really strange with the performances. I feel like my time's kind of running out doing what I'm doing.
Okay.
And at least for my own feelings, I feel like I've done everything I can do as a solo acoustic guitar and singer, kind of singer-songwriter thing.
If your heart's not in it or it doesn't feel genuine, it's eventually going to be conveyed.
Exactly. It was getting stale for me because, like I said earlier, I get bored easy.
Yeah.
You know, that's why, I mean, you could see one of my shows and go to another one of my shows a month later, and I'm playing the songs at different tempos, you know, doing different vocal patterns, switching around the lyrics.
Yeah.
So, like, I really need to keep it fresh, and I just had this idea, and I was like, I'm just going to give him this, like, crazy experimental show that also helps me work something like this out.
Sure.
And yeah, he did not. He tried to cut me off. I wasn't having it. I played until the 24 minutes were done. And it's really sad because I had brought some like games with me that I was going to play and like I had prizes to give away to like the people at his party.
Yeah.
Because I was the headliner. I was the last act.
Yeah.
So I'm not even worried about like going over time or something. And,
Yeah.
you know, and so I like brought all this like fun stuff to do and really, you know, engage with the party. Because I used to be in a band with Rardy Semantics and T Smooth called Splattergory 6. It was probably my most successful band. We played 6 shows in about a 2-year span.
Okay.
But we were a thrash jazz jam band with a undead hillbilly carnival theme. So we would play we'd have 20 minutes of material and play like a 3-hour set at people's like parties and stuff. We always played parties. We'd bring games and prizes. So I was like, I'm playing like a legit birthday party. Let me, get extra crazy.
Yeah.
And he did not appreciate it, and he tried to censor me, and he's like really big into anti-censorship.
Sure.
So which kind of hurt my feelings. It was just like, dude, like you're supposed to be this guy, you know me.
Yeah.
You
should
know,
what
like
you're
we've
getting
played
to
a
an extent.
buttload of shows together. We started working on some other like creative endeavors together, and to just get that much of like a negative reaction.
Yeah.
And then like before I left, he was like, smack talking me to other people at the party apparently. And it was like, I didn't even say goodbye. I was just like, you want to know what? He's upset. Let him be upset. I'm just going to leave this party. I'm going to go on with my life, 'cause, you run into people like that just, don't want to embrace something that's different. And, sometimes you think that they know you and they don't know you. And then, you're just yourself and, they don't like it. So, I hope he has, a wonderful life.
Sure.
I got no ill will towards him.
Yeah.
But like, it's somebody that, I can't work with in that capacity anymore.
Yeah. Especially if you expected them to be one way and then like it kind of went the other way.
Yeah.
Like, if you thought someone would have your back about like doing a set. And then,
Yeah. I tried to really give somebody like something really special.
Yeah.
And it was met with disdain.
I wish I could have seen that set. Do you have any more shows coming up?
I'm playing in Massachusetts, in Worcester at the Kitty Club, I think it's called.
Okay.
With a couple of great people. Tomorrow.
Awesome.
So I'm playing in Massachusetts tomorrow. This has been my tour.
Yeah.
I did such a bad job at booking this tour. For a 13-day tour, I'm playing one show.
That's better than 0.
So that's true. And I've played like up there in Mass a couple times now. And my friends down there, like how it is. Like you make friends with some
touch.
people and you just keep like, swapping shows back and forth.
Yeah.
So yeah, like Fuzz Daddy is an awesome guy. I'm playing with, in his solo project, Friendly Dog.
Okay.
But he's in Jonas the Cloud. I've played with them a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And yeah, like they're just always really welcoming and, just great people.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You toured. Your last tour was last summer.
Yeah, last summer. That was crazy. It was we played like a handful of shows, but it was an insane amount of driving.
Yeah. To get to Arizona, right?
Yeah, we did. I don't think we even played locally. We played in Ohio, which I just played in Ohio like 2 weekends ago at Soundfest.
Okay.
And that was another like, I'm just getting really weird with it. And then we drove from Ohio. We were in the car for 24 hours straight, swapping drivers every 3 to 4 hours. There's only 2 of us.
Yeah.
And 24 hours later, we ended up in Denver.
Yeah.
Hung out in like Denver, Boulder area for a couple days because, considering maybe moving there. And did an open mic night. And then we went and played Celestial Fest. Do you know Dave Mannion?
No.
I think Able Dave on Facebook or whatever. He recently just actually moved back to the area. I think he was in New Brunswick for a while. He's in Asbury Park now. Just another great guy, but he invited me. He saw me play at the Alamo and invited me to play at like a 2-day folk punk doom metal festival he was throwing at his house.
Perfect.
In Prescott, Arizona.
Yeah.
So we boogied out there, and we had played a show in Tucson, and we went camping at the Grand Canyon.
Awesome.
And then we boogied out to Alabama and played at a plug house with this another amazing human being, Bullfrog.
What's a plug house?
It's like a social club in the South. I've played at 2 of them. I've played now at the one in Alabama and the one in Georgia on my first tour. I think there's one in Kentucky, one in maybe Arkansas, and maybe another one in like Mississippi. So it's like deep South, kind of social club.
How's your reception there?
It was good. It was really light. They had a like benefit show for a member that had died the night before. So there wasn't a lot of people there, but everybody that was there got a hell of a show. Yeah. I was like walking on tables for that one, and like, I got like extra weird with it. For some reason, if there's only like a handful of people at a show, I'm more inclined to get like really intense. Because like, it's almost easier to captivate a room of like 20 or 30 than it is a 5. But minus, the other performers that happen to be there.
Well, you have to sell it a little more because when there's less people, there's, I guess, less energy in the room, but people are thinking like, I might want to go home soon. Like, it's quiet here. You know?
Exactly. It's almost like it's kind of awkward.
I tend to play harder when there's less people.
I feel like, you have to. So, like, it's like you're the only people here and you're going to get a hell of a show.
Now, how much is improvised and how much is like kind of set or...
All the songs are written, and I generally don't deviate. But like, I like to write out set lists before I go. Mm-hmm. But then like, I never look at them at the show, and I just kind of do whatever I'm gonna do. Recently, it's been a lot more improv. I've started like doing medleys of songs because like I got to a point, at the beginning I was like writing really long intros for a song so I could play shows, but I didn't have like a full half hour. Yeah. Like prepared. So I'd, bulk it up with like 5 minutes of like intro on a couple of songs. And like at this point, like I've been able to like cut a lot of fat off of stuff. The songs that I'm not really feeling too much anymore, like I don't really play anymore. Yeah. And like doing medleys. And I'd say a lot of the improv comes when I'm interacting with the crowd. Yeah. There's a couple of songs that have like stories that go along with them. But like it's when I start interacting with people, that's when it starts to get like, like genuine because I have to react to the situation. Yeah. So like in front of me. Songs are planned,
but what you actually do physically.
Yeah.
Often not as you're kind of like just going off what's in the room.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
And depending on what kind of show it is, will be how I play actually each individual song. Because like I practice my sets playing all my songs really fast. and then maybe the next day I'll practice and I'll play like a set of songs really slow, you know, or mid pace, or like even like changing,
That's interesting.
radically changing tempos in the middle of songs. Where
Yeah.
it's like, oh, the bridge is now really, really slow.
That's awesome.
It helps me stay entertained.
Sure.
Um,
You do it for you at the end of the day. you know?
Exactly. The drummer from Bitchin' Dudes out of Las Vegas, I played with them at the
Yes,
Alamo.
they stayed here once, actually.
Okay.
They're
Oh,
great.
awesome.
Yeah.
Just awesome
So
group
cool.
of people.
Yeah.
I think their drummer's like over in like India or something now, like
doing
or
yoga,
was for a
right?
little while.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like doing yoga. But he had come up to me after I played, and it was one of the greatest compliments I've ever gotten after a performance. And he was like, "I've never seen anybody play their music for themselves like you do."
That's awesome.
Like, that was absolutely amazing. I loved what you did, and like, and the fact that he picked up that I'm actually doing this for me,
yeah.
you know, was like, you know, when people get what I'm doing and, you know, and then vocalize that to me, like, that just feels really good.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
like,
super nice.
you know, because I like that I can touch other people and help other people deal with their stuff. But at the end of the day, like, this is for me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm doing this so that I can eat, and so that I can like purge all that negativity that I feel.
It's your outlet.
You know, like, yeah, out of my soul.
Yeah. Good. That's why you should be doing it.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you know, you gotta, you know, do what makes you happy.
Yeah.
And if it makes you miserable, don't do it.
I agree.
Quit your job.
If you're listening, I highly implore you to see Johnny B play live whenever it's around in New Jersey.
Good
Never-
luck. I never play local. No, I do. It's just, it's rare.
The last time I saw
don't
you was
play
the Alamo's last show, which was probably a year ago.
That was like a year or two ago. Yeah. I don't like to play at the same places.
It felt like it
A
was your
lot.
home show though, because you had kids
Okay.
rallying around you, cheering your name and shit as you would play, like getting low and just going Johnny, Johnny.
Yeah,
Johnny."
yeah.
But yeah, what was the dude that like booked like that ran that Alex?
Yeah, Alex. Alamo Alex.
Yeah. Did you tour with him at some point too?
Yeah, he like chauffeured me around for a tour.
Cool.
And then he basically went home and picked up the guitar and was like, I want to do this.
That's awesome.
And the following year, then the two of us toured together.
yeah.
And this tour was supposed to be the two of us together. But, you know, like almost nothing happened. So, you know, like that's just, you know.
Yeah.
Now I'm just going to Massachusetts by myself.
At
Because
least
he recently moved to Manhattan and he's got to take care of, you know, his life. His new life in Manhattan.
Yeah.
So
Very
yeah, so now
expensive.
I'm going it alone. Yeah, exactly.
Expensive life.
You know, he's got to do like work and
Yeah.
you know, all that rigmarole.
Yeah. Well, I give you credit for like finding a means to make it work still and still doing it.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, of course. Well, hell yeah. Listen to Johnny B. Go see him at a show. Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I don't know, a gratuitous plug of my things.
Plug
It's
it.
Bentonamo, Bentonamo, not Bentonamo. And I have a YouTube, a Bandcamp, and the new record, Dear Johnny, will be out August 19th on SoundCloud.
Hell yeah. Is there live performances on YouTube by chance?
There's some. There's
Okay.
like weird music videos I've made,
Oh, fuck
and
yeah.
and yeah, like people have captured little bits of shows.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're up there. There's one playlist called Stuck, which is videos of me from other people's YouTubes.
Cool.
And I think my Facebook's dead anyway, but my Facebook has a couple of videos on it that people have posted
Yeah.
throughout
Okay.
the years.
Cool. If you're looking for some good entertainment, some pretty kick-ass performing and fucking interesting music, I would check this out.
Come hang out with the queer demon.
That's right. That's a great moniker.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, that's so good. All right, cool. Well, yeah, thanks for coming through, Johnny.
Cool gooms.
All right.
Keep it weird.
Stay tuned. More episodes to come every week again. We're back.
Bye.
Stay healthy.
Hey, you big bald piece of shit, I fucking hate you, and I hope you die in the bottom of a well, drowning in your own tears, just like you fucking deserve, 'cause you're a fucking asshole. Why you gotta be yelling so much? 'Cause you got picked on in high school. Well, join the club, so did the rest of us. It's not a big fucking deal. There's no reason to keep on carrying it into adulthood. Oh, yeah. You. mother. You are the motherfucker. You are. You are the mother. You are motherfucker. You are. You are the mother. You are motherfucker. You are. You are the mother. You are motherfucker. Why the fuck am I saying fuck so many fucking times in this fucking song? It's so it'll never be played on the fucking radio. And nobody will know who the fuck you are, cause you deserve that you deserve no recognition at all. Cause you are the mother. You are the motherfucker. You are the mother. You are motherfucker. You are the mother. You are motherfucker. You are the mother. You are motherfucker.
Well, seems that the song
Seems
pretty much over at this point.
well,
And,
I hope
song
that
you
you
know,
enjoy your stay here.
did you enjoy it?
Motherfuckerville.
Certainly hope so.
Fucker, big,
Hope you come back.
big.
Hey, you big balls, piece of shit, I fucking hate you, and I hope you die in the bottom of a well, drowning in your own tears, just like you fucking deserve.